I am 92 years old, and 3 months ago I died on a table in County General Hospital. The machines couldn't bring me back. But something else did. I'm here to tell you what I saw in those 2 minutes when my heart stopped beating and the monitor went flat. Before I go, I need to turn around and tell you the truth about him. But first, remember this: you are not walking this path alone. If your heart feels open, share in the comments how God has moved in your life. I woke at 5:30 that Tuesday morning, same as I've done every morning for 50 years. My body doesn't need an alarm anymore. It just knows. I made my coffee, black, 2 scoops. Sat in the chair by the window where the light comes in soft and gold if you catch it early enough. I was reading John chapter 14, the verse about I am the way, the truth, and the life settled into my bones that morning. I must have read it 5 or 6 times. Something about those words wouldn't let me go. Around 800, I felt the first pressure in my chest. Thought it was indigestion at first. You get to be my age, you have all kinds of little pains and discomforts. Your body creaks like an old house. I didn't think much of it. But then the pressure started building, heavy, like someone was sitting on my ribs. My left arm went numb. I couldn't catch my breath. I knew what was happening. My neighbor Margaret checks on me every morning. Sweet lady. When I didn't answer the door at our usual time, she used the key I'd given her and found me collapsed in my kitchen, face down on the linoleum. She called 911 immediately. I don't remember much about the ambulance ride. I was in and out of consciousness. The paramedics were working on me, asking me questions I couldn't answer. Everything was happening so fast and yet so slow at the same time. Voices fading in and out like a radio station losing signal. When we got to the emergency room, that's when things became crystal clear. I remember being wheeled through those doors, the fluorescent lights above me, the sound of machines beeping, voices calling out medical terms I didn't understand. There were doctors and nurses surrounding me, hands moving quickly, efficiently. I was terrified, not of dying. I've made my peace with death a long time ago. When you bury your wife, when you lose the person you loved most in this world, death doesn't scare you the same way anymore. I knew where I was going, but I was scared of the pain. I was scared of the process. I was scared of leaving my children and my grandchildren without saying goodbye. And then everything stopped. I don't know how else to describe it, except to say that one moment I was in that emergency room, and the next moment I wasn't. The beeping stopped. The voices faded. The harsh lights softened into something warm, something golden. I remember the emergency room doors. I remember the lights. And then I remember nothing at all. The beeping stopped, and everything went quiet. Not dark, not empty, just absent of sound, of weight, of time. I wasn't in the hospital anymore, but I wasn't gone either. Somewhere in between, the threshold. No pain, no panic, just a strange clarity I'd never felt before in 92 years of living. I could see the doctors working on my body from above, not like I was floating exactly, more like I was standing in a place that existed outside the room but could still see into it. Watching them shock my chest, once, twice, 3 times. The paddles pressed against my ribs. my body jerking on the table like a puppet with its strings pulled. But I felt nothing. I was watching it happen to someone else, some old man on a gurney whose heart had given out. That's when I realized the old man was me. My body looked smaller than I remembered, frail, the skin gray and papery, my mouth hanging open, eyes closed. I looked dead because I was dead. A nurse was calling out numbers. Another one was squeezing a bag connected to a tube in my throat. A doctor with tired eyes was pressing his hands against my chest, counting compressions. They were trying so hard to bring me back, but I wasn't there anymore. I was somewhere else, somewhere in between the last breath and the next one that wouldn't come. The room started to fade, not going dark, just becoming less solid, less real, like when you stare at something too long and it starts to blur at the edges. The voices grew distant, muffled, like I was underwater and they were calling to me from the surface. And then I felt it. A presence, not a thing, not a force, a presence. Someone was there with me in that space between breaths. I turned. Don't ask me how I turned when I had no body to turn with. But I turned, and I saw him standing at the foot of the bed that was no longer a bed. Jesus, not in a painting, not in a stained glass window, not in my imagination, just there, real as the sun, real as the ground, real as anything I'd ever known. His face was calm. His eyes were looking right at me. And I understood in that moment why the disciples fell down when they saw him after the resurrection. Not because he was terrifying, because he was more real than anything else in the universe. Everything else was a shadow, a copy, a faded photograph. But he was solid, true, undeniable. The hospital room disappeared completely then. The doctors, the machines, the table, all of it gone. I was standing in a place I can't describe. Not a room, not a field, not heaven, not earth, just a place where he was. And that was enough. His presence filled everything. The air I wasn't breathing, the light I was seeing, the peace I was feeling. I wanted to speak, wanted to ask where I was, wanted to ask if this was the end. But before I could open my mouth, he smiled. And when he smiled, I felt like a child again, pure, known, loved anyway. Every wall I'd built, every mask I'd worn, every version of myself I'd tried to be for other people. It all fell away. I was just me, the real me, the one I'd been before the world told me who I had to be. And he looked at me like he'd been waiting for this moment my entire life. His eyes held everything I'd ever needed. Love, forgiveness, peace. Not the kind of love you earn, or the kind of forgiveness you beg for, or the kind of peace you chase after with your whole life and never quite catch. Just love, just forgiveness, just peace, given, complete, already there. I understood things in that gaze I'd spent 52 years trying to figure out. Why Barbara had to leave me when she did. Why the cancer took her so fast I didn't even get to say a proper goodbye. Why I walked through valleys so dark I thought I'd never see light again. Why every prayer that seemed unanswered was actually answered exactly the way it needed to be. Why the job I lost led me to the church where I met the people who became my family. Why the son who broke my heart came back 10 years later asking for forgiveness I didn't know I had the strength to give. All of it made sense in his gaze, not because he explained it. He didn't say a word yet, but because I could see it. See the whole picture. See how every thread wove together into something I couldn't have designed myself, even if I'd tried. The hard years weren't punishment, they were preparation. The dark nights weren't abandonment, they were refinement. Every tear I cried, he collected. Every prayer I prayed, he heard. Every moment I felt alone, he was there. I just couldn't see it because I was too close, too deep in the middle of it. But now, standing in his presence, I could see the whole tapestry. And it was beautiful. He smiled at me, and I felt the weight of 80 years just fall off. The weight of trying to be good enough. The weight of carrying shame for things I'd done 40 years ago that he'd already forgiven. The weight of wondering if he'd done enough, been enough, loved enough. All of it gone. I felt light, clean, new, like I was 5 years old again, running through my grandmother's yard with grass stains on my knees and dirt under my fingernails, and not a care in the world. Pure. That's the only word I have for it. I felt pure. Not because I was perfect. Lord knows I wasn't. I'm not. But because he saw me as pure anyway. He saw past the mistakes, past the failures, past the years I wasted running from him because I thought he was angry with me. He saw the man he created me to be, the man I was always meant to be, before the world got its hands on me and told me I had to be something else. He reached out then, didn't touch me yet, just held his hand out like he was offering me something, and I realized what it was. He was offering me rest, not sleep, not death, not escape. Rest. The kind of rest your soul has been crying out for since the day you were born. The kind of rest you've been chasing in every distraction, every achievement, every relationship, every bottle, every screen, every desperate attempt to fill the hole inside you that nothing on earth can fill. He was offering me himself, and I wanted it more than I'd ever wanted anything in my life, more than I wanted my next breath, more than I wanted to go back, more than I wanted to see my grandchildren grow up. I wanted him. I wanted to stay in that place forever, wanted to never leave his presence, wanted to just stand there and be known and be loved and be enough, exactly as I was. The tears started then. Don't know when they began, but they were streaming down my face, or whatever face I had in that place. I was weeping like a child, like a man who'd been holding it together for 92 years and finally had permission to fall apart. And he just stood there, smiling, waiting, like he had all the time in the world, because he did. Then he spoke, and his voice filled everything. His voice wasn't loud, but it was undeniable. Not a sound exactly, more like a knowing that filled every part of me. "John, you are not done yet." I wanted to argue, wanted to tell him I was tired, that I was ready, that I'd lived long enough and seen enough and heard enough, that I missed my Barbara and wanted to be with her again, that I wanted to stay right there in his presence and never go back to that broken body on the table. But before I could speak, he continued, "There is work still to be done." I didn't understand. What work could an old man like me possibly do? I could barely walk up a flight of stairs without stopping to catch my breath. My hands shook when I tried to write. My memory wasn't what it used to be. What work was left? He looked at me, and I saw it in his eyes. The answer. "Your testimony will reach people who have forgotten me." I felt something shift inside me. A weight, a responsibility, a calling I hadn't asked for but couldn't refuse. People who have walked away, he said. People who have given up hope. People who think I am not real, that I am not here, that I do not see them. The tears were still falling. I don't think they ever stopped. They need to hear from someone who has stood where you are standing, someone who has seen what you are seeing, someone who knows that I am not a myth or a story or a distant idea. His voice grew softer then, more tender. Someone who knows that I am real. I understood then why he was sending me back. Not because I was special, not because I was more righteous than anyone else, not because I deserved this moment more than the millions of others who had died and stayed dead, but because I had seen him and the world needed to know. The skeptics needed to hear from a man who had nothing to gain and nothing to lose. The believers needed to be reminded that their faith wasn't foolish. The broken needed to know that he sees every tear they cry. Lord, I whispered, I am nobody. I am just an old man who has made more mistakes than he can count. He smiled again, that beautiful, terrible, wonderful smile. That is precisely why it is you, because you understand grace. Grace. The word hung in the air between us. You understand that my love is not earned, it is given. You understand that I choose the weak to confound the strong, the foolish to confound the wise. You understand because you have lived it. He reached out then and touched my chest, right where the pain had been, right where my heart had stopped beating. And the moment his hand made contact, I felt it. Life, not just breath returning to my lungs or blood pumping through my veins, but life, real life, the kind that doesn't end when your body gives out, the kind that exists beyond the machines and the monitors and the medicine, eternal life. Go back, he said. Tell them what you have seen. Tell them what you have heard. The golden light began to grow brighter, so bright I had to close my eyes. His voice echoed as everything started to fade. Tell them I love them, John. Tell them I am coming back soon. Tell them to be ready. Tell them I see every tear they cry. His voice was still echoing in that space between worlds, each word landing like a stone dropped into still water, ripples spreading out forever. Tell them I count every sleepless night. I thought about all the nights I'd lain awake after Barbara died, staring at the ceiling, listening to the house settle, the empty space beside me in the bed where she used to sleep. The nights had prayed and heard nothing back. The nights had begged him to take the pain away, and woke up the next morning with it still there, heavy as a stone in my chest. Tell them when they feel most alone, that is when I am carrying them. I saw it then, not with my eyes, but with something deeper, something truer. All those nights I thought had abandoned me. All those prayers I thought went unheard. All those moments I felt like I was walking through the valley alone. He was there, not just watching, not just observing from a distance, carrying me, like a father carries a sleeping child, like a shepherd carries a lamb that can't walk any more. I wasn't alone. I was never alone. I just couldn't feel him because the pain was too loud, the grief was too heavy, the darkness was too thick, but he was there the whole time. Tell them to look for me in the sunrise. I thought about all the sunrises I'd watched from my chair by the window, the way the light comes in slow and gold, the way it touches everything and makes it new again. He was there in every single one, Tell them to look for me in the laughter of children. I thought about my grandchildren, the way they run to me when I visit, the way they throw their arms around my neck and squeeze tight, the way they laugh at my old jokes that aren't even funny anymore. He was there in every hug, every giggle, every moment of pure joy. Tell them to look for me in the kindness of strangers. I thought about Margaret, my neighbor who found me on the kitchen floor, who called 911, who rode with me in the ambulance even though she didn't have to. He was there, in her hands, in her voice, in her care. I am everywhere if they would only open their eyes. The tears were still falling. I don't think they ever stopped. Lord, I said, why me? I am nobody special. I am just an old man who has outlived most of his friends and half his mistakes. He laughed, the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard in my life. Pure joy, no mockery, no condescension, just delight, like a father laughing at something his child said, not because it's foolish, but because it's honest and innocent and true. That is precisely why it is you, John, because you understand grace. There was that word again, grace. You understand that my love cannot be earned. You understand that I do not choose people because they are qualified. I choose them because they are willing. He stepped closer then. You have walked through the valley. You have felt the darkness. You have cried out to me in the night and thought I did not answer. His eyes held mine. But I did answer, every single time, just not always in the way you expected. I understood then what he was asking me to do. He wasn't just sending me back to tell people he exists. He was sending me back to tell them he sees them. Every person who feels forgotten. Every soul who thinks they're too broken. Every heart that's given up hope. He sees them. He counts their tears. He hears their prayers. He carries them when they can't walk any more. And he wanted me to tell them. Then he began to tell me things not for me, but for you. Tell my people to stop waiting for me in ways that make sense to them. His voice had changed, still gentle, still filled with love, but there was something else in it now. Urgency. They have built boxes around me, boxes made of their expectations, their timelines, their understanding of how I should move and when I should speak and where I should show up. I thought about all the times I'd done exactly that, prayed for something specific, expected it to happen a certain way, got angry when it didn't. Like I knew better than God how he should run the universe. I am not confined to their expectations. He said it so simply, like it should have been obvious all along, and it should have been. I move in whispers and in storms, in silence and in chaos. I am in the joy and in the suffering. I am in the answered prayers and in the ones that seem to go unheard. I saw it then. All the times I'd missed him because I was looking in the wrong place, waiting for the loud voice when he was speaking in the quiet, waiting for the miracle when he was working through the ordinary, waiting for the storm to pass when he was meeting me right in the middle of it. Tell them to stop trying to control how I show up. That one hit me hard, because that's what I'd been doing for years without even realizing it, trying to control God, trying to make him fit into my plans, my schedule, my idea of what a good and loving God should do. I am bigger than any box they could build. His voice filled everything again. I do not fit in their timelines. I do not fit in their formulas. I do not fit in their neat little theologies that explain away every mystery and answer every question. He looked at me, and I felt like he was looking through me, seeing every time I tried to shrink him down to something manageable, something I could understand, something I could control. I am God. I am infinite. I am beyond their comprehension, and that is exactly how it should be. The light around him grew brighter. If they could understand me completely, I would not be worth worshiping. If they could predict me perfectly, I would not be God. I understood what he was saying. We spend so much time trying to figure God out, trying to make him make sense, trying to fit him into categories and systems and doctrines, but he's God. He doesn't fit. Tell them to stop putting me in a box and start trusting me outside of it. His voice grew softer then, more tender. Tell them I am working even when they cannot see it, moving even when they cannot feel it, speaking even when they cannot hear it. Tell them to look for me everywhere, not just in church buildings, not just in prayer closets, not just in the moments that feel holy. I am in the grocery store. I am in the traffic jam. I am in the doctor's office. I am in the difficult conversation. I am in the sleepless night. I am everywhere, always, working all things together for their good. His eyes held mine one more time. Tell them to stop waiting for me to show up the way they expect and start noticing the ways I am already there. His voice changed again then, still tender, still filled with love, but there was grief in it now, deep grief. Tell them about my bride. I knew who he meant, the church, his people, us. She is divided, distracted, discouraged. He said each word slowly, like it hurt to say them out loud. Tell them to love each other, not in word only, but in deed and in truth. I thought about all the fighting I'd seen, all the arguments over doctrine and politics and worship styles and who was right and who was wrong, all the energy spent tearing each other down instead of building each other up. The world is watching. His eyes held a sadness I'd never seen before. Right now they see more fighting than love. That hit me like a punch to the chest, because it was true. How many people had walked away from the faith not because they stopped believing in God, but because they couldn't stand the people who claimed to follow him? How many souls had been lost because we were too busy arguing with each other to notice them slipping away? Tell them to lay down their arguments and pick up their compassion. I saw it then. All the battles we've been fighting, the debates, the divisions, the drawing of lines in the sand. And I saw what we should have been doing instead: feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, visiting the sick, comforting the grieving, loving people the way he loved them, without condition, without judgment, without keeping score. Tell them to worry less about being right and more about being mine. That one burned, because I'd spent years being right, correcting people, defending doctrine, making sure everyone knew where I stood on every issue, and in all that being right, I'd forgotten to be loving. The enemy loves it when they tear each other apart. His voice was quiet now, almost a whisper. He does not need to attack them. He just needs to sit back and watch them destroy each other. I felt shame wash over me. All the times I'd judged another believer for not being Christian enough, not conservative enough, not progressive enough, not whatever enough. All the times I'd looked at someone else's walk with God and decided it wasn't good enough. Who was I to judge? Who was I to decide who was in and who was out? Tell them to stop the infighting, stop the judgment, stop the superiority. He looked at me, and I saw the weight he was carrying, the weight of watching his children fight while the world burns. Tell them the world does not need more Christians who are right. It needs more Christians who are kind. I thought about Jesus, the real Jesus, not the one we've created in our own image, the one who ate with sinners, who touched lepers, who defended the woman caught in adultery, who washed the feet of the men who would betray him. He didn't spend his time arguing theology. He spent his time loving people, the broken ones, the messy ones, the ones everyone else had given up on. Tell them to be like me. His voice was so gentle now. Tell them to love like I loved, serve like I served, forgive like I forgave. Tell them the greatest apologetic is not a well-crafted argument, it is a well-lived life. He reached out again. This time his hand touched my shoulder. Tell them to stop fighting each other and start fighting for each other. I felt the weight of that mission settle on me. Tell them unity does not mean uniformity. They can disagree and still love. They can have different convictions and still serve side by side. But they must stop treating each other like enemies. His eyes held mine one last time before moving on. Because the real enemy is watching, and he is winning as long as they are divided. Then he looked at me, and I knew he was about to say something I needed to remember word for word. Tell those who are suffering, who are walking through the valley of the shadow of death. His voice dropped to barely more than a whisper. I am with them even when they cannot feel me. I thought about Barbara's final days, the hospice bed in our living room, the morphine drip, the way she'd squeeze my hand even when she couldn't open her eyes any more. The valley, I'd walked through it, felt the shadow, wondered where God was when I needed him most. Even when they cannot sense me, I am there. He said it like he was making a promise, like he was staking everything on this one truth. My rod and my staff are there to comfort, to guide, to protect. I'd read Psalm 23 1,000 times in my life, recited it at funerals, prayed it in hospital rooms, whispered it in the dark when I couldn't sleep. But I'd never understood it until that moment. The rod and the staff aren't just poetic imagery. They're real. The rod to defend against what's trying to destroy you, the staff to pull you back when you're about to fall off the cliff. He's not just watching from a distance. He's right there in the valley with you, fighting for you, guiding you, keeping you from going over the edge. The valley is not punishment. His eyes were so intense now, like he needed me to hear this more than anything else. It is transformation. That word hung in the air. Transformation. Not destruction, not abandonment, not cruelty. Transformation. I do my deepest work in the dark. I saw it then, all the ways had changed me through the pain, the pride that got burned away when I lost everything, the self-reliance that got stripped away when I couldn't do it on my own any more, the illusion of control that got shattered when life fell apart despite my best efforts. All of it happened in the valley. All of it happened in the dark. And I came out different on the other side, not broken, refined. Every tear is collected in a bottle. I thought about all the tears I'd cried over Barbara, over my failures, over the things I'd lost and the things I'd never have. He collected them, every single one, not because he enjoyed watching me suffer, but because he valued my pain enough to keep it, to remember it, to honor it. Every prayer is heard, even the ones I prayed through gritted teeth, even the ones that were more anger than faith, even the ones that didn't make sense because I was too broken to form coherent words. He heard them all. The weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I'd lived that verse, survived it, come out the other side of it. The night had been long, longer than I thought I could endure, but the morning came. It always comes. Tell them the valley is not a place I send them to punish them. It is a place I walk with them to prepare them. His hand was still on my shoulder, steady, strong. Tell them I am doing something in the dark they could never understand in the light. Tell them the valley is temporary, but the transformation is eternal. Tell them to hold on, to keep walking, to keep trusting even when they cannot see where the path is leading. His voice grew even softer. Tell them I have never lost anyone in the valley, not one. I carry them through to the other side, and when they look back, they will see that the valley was not the end of their story. It was the beginning of their testimony. I felt the weight of those words settle deep in my chest. The valley wasn't abandonment. It was presence. His presence in the darkest place, doing the deepest work. Then he addressed something I didn't expect. When you wake up, a nurse will tell you that you are safe now. I didn't understand at first why he was telling me this. She will mean well. She will speak from care and relief. Her heart will be in the right place. His eyes held mine. But I want you to understand something deeper, something most people never grasp until they stand where you are standing right now. He stepped closer. You were safe with me, safer than you could ever be in any hospital, safer than you could ever be in any building on earth. I felt the truth of those words settle into my bones. Safety is not the absence of danger. He said it so simply, like it should have been obvious all along. Safety is the presence of my peace. I thought about all the years I'd spent trying to make myself safe, locking doors, checking accounts, getting insurance, building walls, all of it designed to protect me from the things that could hurt me, but none of it could protect me from death. None of it could protect me from loss. None of it could protect me from the things that really mattered. The world teaches you to pursue safety, to avoid risk, to protect yourself at all costs. His voice was gentle but firm. But I am teaching you something different. True safety is not found in the preservation of your body. It is found in the security of your soul. I saw it then. All the things I'd been afraid of my whole life. Death, pain, loss, failure, rejection. All of it rooted in the belief that safety meant nothing bad could happen to me. But that's not what safety means at all. It is knowing that whether you live or die, you are mine. Those words hit me like lightning. Whether you live or die, you are mine. Nothing can snatch you out of my hand. No disease, no accident, no tragedy, no evil. His hand was still on my shoulder. You are held, always, forever, eternally. I thought about the moment my heart stopped, the moment the machines went flat, the moment the doctors thought they'd lost me. I wasn't lost. I was found. More found than I'd ever been in my entire life. The world offers temporary safety, temporary comfort, temporary peace. He looked at me, and I saw eternity in his eyes. But I offer eternal security. Eternal, Not just for a moment, not just for a season, not just until the next crisis comes. Forever. I offer a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that remains even when everything around you is falling apart. Id felt that peace in the valley, in the dark, in the moments when everything was stripped away and all I had left was him. That peace didn't come from my circumstances being good. It came from knowing he was good. I offer a hope that cannot be shaken no matter what storms come. His voice filled everything again. Tell them the nurse will speak from her reality, from what she understands, from the world she lives in where safety means survival. But I want my people to understand a deeper reality. He leaned in closer. They are always safe in me. Always. Not because nothing bad will happen to them, but because nothing that happens to them can separate them from my love. I felt tears streaming down my face again. The hospital did not save you, John. I did. His words were so clear, so undeniable. The doctors did not heal you. I did. They were my instruments, my hands, my tools, but I was the one who decided your time had not yet come. He stepped back then, and I knew what was coming next. The golden light was starting to shift, starting to change. Our time was ending. Tell them to stop looking for safety in the wrong places. Stop building walls that cannot protect them from what really matters. Tell them to find their safety in me, in my presence, in my promises. Tell them that true safety is not avoiding death. It is knowing that death has no power over them any more. His voice was fading now, growing distant. Because I have already conquered it. It is not your time. Go back. Tell them what you have seen. His voice was still echoing, but the golden light was fading now, pulling away like the tide going out. Tell them I love them. Tell them I am coming back soon. I reached out, tried to grab hold of something, anything, wanted to stay in that place forever, wanted to stay with him. Tell them to be ready. Tell them to watch. Tell them to stay faithful. The light was dimming. His face was starting to blur at the edges. Everything was slipping away. Lord, please, I don't want to go back. My voice sounded small, desperate. I want to stay here with you. I want to be with Barbara. I want to be home. He smiled one last time. That beautiful, terrible, wonderful smile. You will be home soon enough, John. But not yet. Not today. The space around me was dissolving. The peace was lifting. The clarity was fading. I could feel something pulling me backward, down, away from him. Tell them to love each other. Tell them to forgive each other. Tell them to stop wasting time on things that do not matter. His voice was growing distant now, like he was speaking from the other end of a long tunnel. Tell them every moment is a gift. Every breath is grace. Every sunrise is mercy. I was falling, not down exactly, but away, back toward something I couldn't see yet, but could feel getting closer. Tell them I am with them always, even to the end of the age. The last thing I heard was his voice echoing through everything, filling the space between worlds. I love you, John. Now go and tell them I love them too. Then everything went dark. Not the peaceful dark it felt before, not the absence of light. This was different, heavy, suffocating. I felt weight again, pain again, the heaviness of a body that had been dead and was now being forced back to life. My chest exploded with pain. Someone was pressing down on my ribs, hard, counting. Voices were shouting. Machines were beeping. hands were moving. I tried to open my eyes, but they were so heavy, like someone had placed stones on my eyelids. Another shock. My body jerked on the table. I gasped, choked, felt air rushing into my lungs like fire. "We've got a pulse!" Someone was shouting, relief in their voice. "Hez back! Hez back!" I forced my eyes open. The fluorescent lights were blinding, harsh, nothing like the golden light I'd just left. A nurse was standing beside me, young woman, dark hair pulled back, tears in her eyes. She squeezed my hand. "You're safe now," she whispered. "You're safe." But I had just come from the safest place I'd ever been. I had just been held by the one who conquered death. I had just looked into the eyes of eternal love. And now I was back in the hospital, back in the pain, back in the body that was failing, and the world that was broken. But I knew why. I knew what He'd asked me to do. I opened my mouth, tried to speak. My throat was raw from the tube they'd put down it. "I saw Him," I whispered. The nurse looked confused, concerned. "Just rest," she said. "You've been through a lot." But I couldn't rest. Not yet. "I saw Jesus," I said again, louder this time. "He was right there. The doctors told me later I'd been dead for 2 minutes and 17 seconds. No heartbeat, no pulse, no breath. They'd shocked me 3 times, done everything they could. But I came back, not because of them, because He sent me back. I couldn't stop thinking about what He told me. Couldn't stop hearing His voice in my head. Couldn't stop seeing His face every time I closed my eyes. The doctors wanted to keep me for observation, run more tests, make sure my heart was stable. But all I could think about was the message, the words He'd given me to share. My son came to visit me in the hospital. He sat beside my bed and held my hand and cried. Told me he thought he'd lost me. I looked at him and said, "I need you to help me make a video." He thought I was confused, thought the medication was making me talk nonsense. "Dad, you just had a heart attack. You need to rest." But I couldn't rest, not until I did what He asked me to do. "I saw Jesus," I told my son. "He sent me back to tell people something, and I need to tell them before I forget, before the details fade, before I lose the clarity of what I saw." My son looked at me for a long time, trying to decide if I was serious or delirious. Then he pulled out his phone. "Okay, Dad, tell me what you want to say." He set up the camera, pressed record, and I just spoke from my heart, spoke from the place I'd just been, spoke the words Jesus had given me to speak. I didn't rehearse, didn't write anything down, didn't try to make it sound good or polished or professional. I just told the truth, told them what I'd seen, what I'd heard, what He'd asked me to share. My son posted the video that night. By morning, it had a few hundred views. By the end of the week, it had a few thousand. Now millions of people have heard this story. Millions of people have heard what Jesus told me to tell them. Some believe, some don't. And that's between them and God. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm not here to prove myself. I'm not here to defend what I experienced. I'm just here to be obedient, to do what He asked me to do, to tell the truth about what I saw and let Him handle the rest. People ask me all the time why I'm doing this, why I'm putting myself out there, why I'm opening myself up to criticism and mockery and doubt. I'm 92 years old. What do I need attention for? What do I need fame for? What do I need money for? I've lived my life, raised my family, buried my wife, made my peace with how things turned out. I don't need anything from this world anymore, but I need to be obedient to Him. I need to honor the moment He gave me, the message He entrusted to me, the mission He sent me back to complete. This isn't about me. It never was. This is about Him. This is about Jesus. This is about the fact that He is still moving, still speaking, still reaching out to a lost and broken world. This is about the fact that He sees every person who feels forgotten. He hears every prayer that feels unanswered. He collects every tear that falls in the dark. And He wanted someone to tell them. So He chose me, not because I'm special, not because I'm more righteous, not because I deserve that moment more than anyone else, but because I understand grace, because I know what it's like to be broken and loved anyway, because I've walked through the valley and come out the other side, and because I'm old enough and tired enough and close enough to the end that I don't care what people think anymore. I just care about being faithful, about doing what He asked me to do before my time really does run out. So I'm telling this story over and over again to anyone who will listen, because that's what He asked me to do, and I love Him too much to stay silent. I know some of you are skeptical. I've read the comments, seen the doubt, heard the accusations. Some of you think this is fake, think I'm lying, think this is a lie or some kind of trick designed to manipulate people. I understand. I do. The world has given you plenty of reasons not to trust, plenty of false prophets, plenty of people who use God's name to get rich or famous or powerful. I get why you're cautious. But I want you to understand something. The devil is a liar and the father of lies. And only those who walk with Christ can recognize His voice when He speaks. Scripture tells us in Matthew chapter 13, though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. There are people with hardened hearts who will never believe no matter what evidence is presented. No matter what testimony is shared, no matter what miracle unfolds right in front of them, it's not your fault. I mean that. It's not your fault that you cannot see what the Lord revealed to me. Your eyes haven't been opened yet. Your heart hasn't been softened yet. The veil hasn't been lifted yet. And I will pray for you. I will pray that one day you encounter Him the way I did. That one day the scales fall from your eyes and you see what's been there all along. But I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to argue with you or debate you or prove myself to skeptics who have already made up their minds. I'm here to tell the truth. What you do with that truth is between you and God. Some of you say this story is too convenient, too perfect, too much like what people want to hear. You think I'm telling people what they need to hear to get views or donations or attention. But let me ask you something. What do I gain from lying? I'm 92 years old. I've got maybe a few years left if the Lord is gracious. Maybe less. What do I need money for? What do I need fame for? What do I need your approval for? I've lived my life, made my mistakes, lost the people I loved most, stood at more gravesides than I can count. I don't need anything from this world any more. The only thing I need is to be obedient to what He asked me to do. And if that means some people call me a liar, so be it. If that means some people mock me, so be it. If that means some people think I've lost my mind, so be it. I would not stake my reputation on a lie. I would not stake my integrity on a fabrication. I would not stake my eternal soul on a false testimony. I saw what I saw. I heard what I heard, and am telling you because he told me to tell you, not because I expect you to believe me, but because there are people out there who need to hear this, people who are desperate for hope, people who are hanging on by a thread, people who need to know that God is real and he sees them and he hasn't forgotten them. Those people will recognize his voice in my words. Those people will feel the truth of what I'm saying even if they can't explain why. Those people are who this message is for. If you're not one of them, that's okay. I'm not offended. I'm not angry. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to keep telling the truth, and I'm going to pray that one day your eyes are open too. To my brothers and sisters in Christ, to those who believe, to those who are walking with the Lord, to those who have already given their hearts to him. Keep going. I know you're tired. I know the world is getting darker. I know it feels like you're swimming upstream while everyone else is floating downstream. I know you've been mocked for your faith, laughed at for your beliefs, called foolish for trusting in something you cannot see. Keep going anyway. Keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of your faith. He started this work in you, and he will complete it. The world is going to get darker before it gets lighter. The times are going to get harder before they get easier. The pressure is going to increase before the relief comes. But we serve a God who has already won. We serve a Savior who has already conquered death. We serve a King whose kingdom cannot be shaken. He is coming back soon. I saw it in his eyes, heard it in his voice, felt the urgency of it in my spirit. He is coming back, and when he does, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess, every eye will see him. The skeptics will see him, the mockers will see him, the ones who called us foolish will see him, and they will know we were right all along. But until that day comes, we have work to do. We have people to love. We have truth to speak. We have hope to share. We have valleys to walk through with people who are suffering. We have hands to hold with people who are grieving. We have meals to cook for people who are too tired to feed themselves. We have the gospel to preach, not with fancy words or clever arguments, but with our lives, with our love, with our faithfulness. The world doesn't need more Christians who can win debates. It needs more Christians who can wash feet. It needs more Christians who show up, who stay, who love people even when it's inconvenient. Don't get discouraged by the naysayers. They said the same things about Jesus, called him a liar, a lunatic, a fraud. They mocked him, rejected him, killed him. And 3 days later, he walked out of that tomb and proved them all wrong. Don't get distracted by the critics. They're not your audience. They're not who you're called to reach. You're called to reach the broken, the lost, the desperate, the ones who need hope. And those people are watching. They're watching to see if your faith is real, if your love is genuine, if your hope can survive the darkness. Show them it can. Show them that Jesus is worth following even when it costs you everything. Show them that his peace is real even in the storm. Show them that his presence is enough even when everything else is stripped away. Don't get weary in doing good. I know you're tired. I know you've been serving for years, and sometimes it feels like no one notices or cares. But he sees you. He knows you. He is with you, and He is preparing a place for you, a place so beautiful, so perfect, so filled with His presence that we cannot even imagine it. I've seen a glimpse of it, just a glimpse, and I can tell you it's worth it. Every sacrifice, every tear, every moment of faithfulness, it's all worth it. So keep going. Keep pressing forward. Keep running the race. The finish line is closer than you think. And to those who don't believe yet, to those who are skeptical, to those who are searching, to those who want to believe but can't quite get there, to those who have been hurt by the church, who have been let down by Christians, who have been given 1,000 reasons to walk away and never look back, I want you to know something. Jesus is real, not a myth, not a legend, not just a good teacher or a moral philosopher or an inspiring historical figure. He is the Son of God. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And He loves you with a love that is beyond comprehension. You may not believe in Him, but He believes in you. You may have walked away from Him, but He has never walked away from you. You may think you're too far gone, too broken, too sinful, too damaged, too unworthy, but there is no one beyond the reach of His grace. I've seen His eyes. I've heard His voice, I've felt His love, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that He is not who you think He is. He's not the angry judge waiting to condemn you. He's not the distant deity who doesn't care about your pain. He's not the cosmic killjoy trying to steal your happiness. He is a Father who sees you, who knows you, who loves you exactly as you are, not as you should be, not as you could be, not as you will be someday, as you are right now, with all your doubts, all your questions, all your mess. He loves you, and He's been waiting for you to come home. You don't have to clean yourself up first. You don't have to get your life together. You don't have to fix all your problems before you come to Him. Come as you are, broken, confused, angry, hurt, lost. Come exactly as you are. He died for you. Not for the person you're pretending to be, not for the version of yourself you show the world, not for who you'll become after you get it all figured out. He died for you, the real you, the one you hide from everyone else, the one you're ashamed of, the one you think is too broken to be loved. That's the you He died for. He rose for you. 3 days after they killed Him, He walked out of that tomb and proved that death has no power any more, that your past doesn't define you, that your mistakes don't disqualify you, that your brokenness doesn't make you unlovable. He conquered death so you could have life, real life, eternal life, life that doesn't end when your body gives out. And He is waiting for you with open arms, ready to forgive, ready to heal, ready to transform your life. All you have to do is call on His name. All you have to do is surrender. All you have to do is believe. I know it's hard. I know you've been hurt. I know you've been disappointed. I know you've prayed prayers that seem to go unanswered and asked questions that no one could answer. I know you've seen hypocrisy in the church. I know you've been judged by people who claimed to follow Jesus but didn't act like Him at all. I know. But don't let broken people keep you from a perfect Savior. Don't let your pain keep you from the only one who can heal it. Don't let your doubts keep you from the truth that will set you free. If you're suffering right now, if you're in pain, if you're walking through the darkest valley of your life, I want you to hear what Jesus told me. He sees you Every tear you've cried, he has collected. Every prayer you've prayed, he has heard. Every moment you felt alone, he was there. You may not feel him. You may not sense him. You may not understand why he's allowing what you're going through, but he is with you. He promised he would never leave you, and he keeps his promises. This season will not last forever. This pain will not be permanent. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hold on. Keep believing. Keep trusting. Keep hoping. He is working all things together for your good, even the things that make no sense right now, even the things that feel impossible to bear. He is with you, and he will carry you through. I don't know how much longer I have on this earth. Could be months, could be years, could be decades. Only God knows. But I know this. When my time comes, when I take my final breath, when the machines go flat and don't come back this time, I will not be afraid. I've already seen where I'm going. I've already met the one who will be waiting for me. I've already felt the peace that awaits on the other side. And until that day comes, I will keep telling this story. I will keep sharing this testimony. I will keep pointing people to Jesus, because that's what he asked me to do, because I love him too much to stay silent, because there are still people who need to hear that he is real, that he sees them, that he hasn't forgotten them. My name is John, and I saw Jesus, not because I'm special, not because I'm more righteous than anyone else, not because I deserved it, but because he is gracious, because he is merciful, because he wanted to remind the world that he is real, he is alive, he is present. He wanted someone to tell you that he loves you, that he sees every tear you cry, that he hears every prayer you pray, that he is with you even when you cannot feel him. And he chose me to be that messenger, so I'm delivering the message. Before I go, I want you to know you're not alone. If you feel ready, share in the comments what God has meant in your life. Tell me where you're looking for peace today. Share this with someone who is tired of running, because He's not running from them. He's running toward them with open arms, ready to catch them when they fall, ready to carry them when they can't walk any more, ready to love them exactly as they are. That's the message. That's what I saw. That's what he told me to tell you. And now I have.